Good morning in there out there. Boy, I hope it's warmer out there, 'cause out here, whew, is it ever cold, huh, Viv? Huh? It's just a cold. How can it be this late in spring? We should be dancing in the woods, happy and warm, and getting our shorts out and our t-shirts. Oh, what's the t-shirt? Somebody came up. Oh, shoot. Well, anyway, 47 degrees. I'm looking out at the thermometer outside through the window here, and it's about 45. Ah, boy, I'm glad this little girl here is taking a nap with us today. Slurp. Here's my slurp pillow. Don't want everything to fall down. Had the landscapes of poetry last night, and out of the 12 people stay, 12 of them wrote poems that you ought to read, meaning publishable, even though I'm not big on publishing. I'm big on writing poems that matter to people. Publishing, who reads? When's the last time that you read a literary magazine? When's the last time you did? Did you read that? Yeah, that's what a lot of people would say right there. Yeah, that's what they do. You're going to stay around for a while. Boom, boom. Yeah. There's all these really nice people out there who are just sitting down with a little cup of coffee right now, thinking, you know what? These days are really awful and full of cruelty. And that's made the things that I really care about feel all the more important. Have you noticed that? Yeah, I have. I notice every time I say, hi, Julie, I love you, sweetheart, or pet Vivian, or have a cat crawl on me. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have that. Yeah. Yeah. Some people, yeah. Boy, a report on the workshops at Oxbow. One is filled. The June 21 is filled. June 7 still has some spots if you'd like to come join us. That would be nice. It's the one about writing about things that matter to you. And we're going to take a special spin on that. And we might find out that petting your dog really matters. Yeah. Not the big, but now that we have this paradox that little things are big things now. And it's really important to keep that in mind. We had, for example, 7 mallards yesterday on the pond. 7. Now, there would have been a time when I would have said, hey, there's 7 mallards on the pond. But yesterday I did 4 backflips and got out my trumpet and blared that. And Julie came and said, what's going on? And I said, there's 7 mallards on the pond. Vivian, we're not going to leave. I'm telling you. No, we're not gonna. You're gonna get down. Down. See how soft? Down. Down. Hey. Snack. Turn around. Stay. Oh, we didn't take the pillows off. Thank you, Julie. I got everything all set up last night and I forgot to take the big pillows off so Vivi doesn't feel like it's her home. Good. Thank you. Good job. Okay, let me look at my list. I wish I could remember things, but old guys go. Now, what was that? Hmm. Do a lot of that. Had a tear-evoking experience on Saturday. Wow. It was the reunion, the 50th reunion class came back to the college. And that was the very first class in 1971, the very first group of students that I ever taught. And I'd never taught anything anyway. They'd never hire me today, and I did okay. And so there was this 50th reunion, and they asked me to speak to them. And it turned out they had asked me to give their commencement address back in 1975. And so I gave these remarks, I guess you call them, on Saturday. And I felt like tears were going to trickle out of my eyes about every 11 minutes. And we were so nervous together back in 71, and everything was new for both of us. So we were both learning. Wait a minute, where's the library? Would you like a snack? Okay. Yeah. So I began my remarks. I don't know how you'll respond to this, but I gained them. I set my water bottle down, my notes, looked out at everybody and said, "Remember whiteout?" Boy, they laughed. And Julie came up with that. And then I said, "Well, that's a great opener." Just think what that little silly whiteout thing suggests about everything, the whole technological age, huh? Remember whiteout? Who out there just said, "What's whiteout?" Yeah. Um, so when we started, there they were. I was, can you imagine? I was 27 when I started and 31 when I gave a commencement address. I say that smiling now because it just feels like a kid. They were 18 and I was 27, and they had older high school teachers. One of the things they had to do was keep a journal with 10 things to do with 10 things you can do with, and then every week I'd give them a different thing to fill in the blank. And about 10 of them came up to me and said, "Remember when you gave us 10 things to do with a moose?" Why would they remember that? I don't. Every one of them. That's the only one they mentioned. And a couple of them came up and said, "I have all my papers." They're so sweet. I have all my papers. Then I told them about getting rid of grades and giving everybody an A. And so one woman came up to me and said, "You gave me a B." Yeah. There's at least 12 new huge buildings on this campus since they've been here. It's not the same place. So I said, okay, there's these 12 amazing buildings, a music building that looks like the Lincoln Center, an international building, a brand new library, a 2-block long science building. I said, would you get a better education today? And they had fun thinking about that. And another question I asked them was, when you came to Hope, think back to what by your senior year you were planning, or sometime along the way, you were planning to do when you left. And by 10 years later, you had changed for good. And I'd say everybody or 90-some%. Come here, you. Stay around. Blah, 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 blah. Stay around. Stay around. 90-some% raised their hand. Isn't that fascinating? I found that fascinating. Yep. Julie's in a, what do you call it again? A knit-along. Knit-along. People all over the world. And I just love that she's, okay, I'm going to let you go. But do you realize you're walking out on these people? You're just walking right out on them. Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're saying, I've had enough of you. I'm leaving. I'm going away now. Okay. I had my snacks. I bribed him. I'm going. Yeah. So the knit along, it's long, just makes me happy. I just know she's down there knitting along, and all these people, and they're so good to each other, and they care about each other, and they're all different, and it's a beautiful thing. And of course, Julie is the best knitter of them all. So they all ask her, "How in the world did you ever make that awning? How did you do that?" Well, okay, it's Memorial Day. Let's try to keep it Memorial Day best we can, huh? Think about my dad. Ooh, imagine the days when even in the service, the captain was a white guy and his company was black. Even in World War II. Whew. He loved those guys. They loved him. Yep. So I always like to read this poem on at this time of the year because this is. I always think that Memorial Day is even more New Year's than New Year's Day. You make more resolutions for the summer. This summer we're going. This summer, not this summer, and much more. Hey, you decide to hang around. I bet. Are you? I'm so glad. Thank you. Okay, here's our poem. A few days before another Memorial Day weekend, and get those burgers and brats and everything all ready. Now, you do notice that she leaves when we're going to read the poem, right? You do notice that. Okay. You think maybe if you screened in the porch, you think fly fishing, you think rereading Middlemarch or your grandmother's recipes. There's summer ahead, lots of days, plenty of pots to make a container garden, mounds of begonias, asters, foxglove, cosmos, and coldias. There's your sister's wedding, her third, you think. It will be small, huge, both. Doesn't matter. And it does. It's not at all the same. What is the same is your penmanship, no matter how many calligraphy lessons or how hard you've tried to change the way you cross your T's. What's the same as birdsong and the taste of pepper? You switch serials, you turn off the television, the back burner, the boss, the highway. There's a little restaurant where you can order garlic mashed potatoes and switch to switch to raspberry pie. You think if you throw away your shoes, buy a little car, a little place in the country, make a little sense. You say yes to 4 in the morning, yes to dust on the table, no to the days of the week, to wind chimes, number 2 lead pencils, the West Coast. You know there's wax in your ears, there's time enough to tell, there's room for it here, or even there. It's just that the dog is asleep and the cats are asleep and the water is running, running where your mother said it would run, running while the welcome mat stays out. You wonder if you thought of Buddha, but no one can think of Buddha. So you think of Jesus thinking of Buddha, Jesus thinking of Krishna, thinking of Buddha, who is not thinking, who is letting the dream of a better kitchen wander off with the end of a novel. No, you think of the nuthatch, climbing down the dead maple outside your bedroom window. You think of the kid on the yellow bicycle, pedaling like mad, like crazy, like wildfire down the street. Thank you. Take care. Be kind. Hoy, try to be cheerful. Enjoy a cup of whatever.